Okay, y'all. Here we are again tonight. Thank you so much for coming in and sharing time with us here at CMH Business Solutions. And of course, the title is what we're talking about is business solutions, tips and updates. Yay! And today we have a special guest that will be coming in. She is a realtor here in the historic city of Montgomery, Alabama, with me, and she is going to be talking about relative stuff. I'm just going to let her introduce herself and we're going to go from there. But I did pin a link um, at the top. It is to one of my newsletters that goes out every month. Okay, so this is one so you can get can sample what the newsletter is all about. So please click on that link. And for my YouTube family, of course, all links that are shared will be in the description over on the YouTube channel. So that's it. And I see that our guests have come in, so I am going to go ahead and bring her up, and we can get this show on the road. How you do? How you do?
Hello, hello, Miss Cher. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't know my volume was down, girl. Golly. We're going to get it right one of these days. We're going to get it right one of these days. So, I was just trying to go over the introduction, just, you know, sharing, about the space and all of that. So, what I'm going to do now is just go ahead and toss you the mic and let the people know who you are and all of the things, okay, and then swing it back this way and we'll just kind of go back and forth. For now we're just going to kind of ignore the people that's popping in and out until we get to an end. If no other people come in, then we're just going to close the space and go on about our day. Is that okay?
That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, excellent. So you got the mic. Go ahead.
Well,
Introduce yourself.
my name is Sikita Rodgers. I'm a broker here in Montgomery, Alabama. I deal with investors, first time homeowners, and people who are looking to expand their property portfolio. I deal with a lot of first homeowners, private owners, so to speak. I act as their representative. So my purpose today for speaking with everyone is basically the topic of people who are looking for private homeowners, why you can't find any, the limited inventory, especially in the Montgomery area, for rentals in Section 8 properties, people who are qualified for Section 8, because you have a high volume of people qualifying since the process has been opened up. Last month, here in the city of Montgomery, the Public Housing Authority opened up its wait list, and that in turn added more numbers of people who are looking for rental properties. However, when you're dealing with Section 8, those rental properties have what you call a subsidy attached to them via HUD. So basically, that was the gist of the commentary that I had set up for tonight. Um, Wanting people to understand the reason it's hard to find a private landlord, and to talk to anyone out there who might be a private landlord and get an understanding of why they're looking for you. Because a lot of times, people who are looking for private landlords are looking for one because first of all they probably have something on their credit that probably have a low credit score, or they have an eviction. And in certain cases, as long as a person can afford the unit, a private landlord will forego those issues. And what some people don't know as well is that if you're on Section 8 receiving a voucher, sometimes, as long as here in Montgomery, as long as you have not received the eviction under the Section 8 program, a lot of times landlords do not count that eviction, because if you received an eviction under Section 8, if you do not rectify that eviction, whether it's landlord based or tenant based, if you owe any monies to that landlord, that could disqualify you from being on Section 8. So in most times you have people taking advantage of that fact on both sides, whether it is the tenant knowing that they can only pay so much in regards to anything and allowing their security deposit to be foregone, or if it's the landlord themselves taking advantage of the fact that if they don't pay, um, they can take the security deposit. So in most times it is a dispute with the security deposit and final payments when they're moving out. So that's basically what I was geared, like I said, geared to talk to everybody about.
Okay, so this what you're speaking about is primarily for people. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to see what demographic are you targeting during this climate right now?
Well, it's not really a demographic, Michelle. It's just anybody in the housing market. You have, and in the housing market, it consists of, like I said, buyers and sellers and investors, right? And I work with them all. If you're, let's say, with you, you have a property and you don't want to be bothered with it. In that aspect, you would come find me, and as your property manager, I would do the leasing for you. If you're a seller and you're trying to sell a property, well, I do what they call a CMA, or a broker price opinion, and we get your and marketing, and we get your property sold. If you're a buyer, whether you're a first time buyer or you're transferring from one property to another, I assist people who are looking for anything to do with real estate. I'm like a one stop shop broker, because I can help you buy your property, I can help you sell your property, and I can help you manage your property if you choose to be like an investor, increasing your portfolio. So
Okay,
there's
so
the
that explains everything. All right. Thank you for clearing that up for me.
yes,
Yeah. So,
and
yeah. So that is absolutely good to know. I mean, girl, I did not know that.
yes, ma'am. And so
Like,
I was leaning into talking about the different positions each role play, and what I've been seeing as a property manager. I wanted to discuss the fact that what I was hoping to discuss the fact that a lot of people are looking for what they call private landlords, and I deal with the private landlords, and why they're being looked for and why there are so few. Because in each aspect in the real estate game, you got two sides of it. You got the buyer side, and then you got the seller side. And then on the seller side, you can break that down from renter to investor. You see what I'm saying? How they correlate? It's just in all the situations,
yeah.
just all with the situation of what are you doing? Are you going to lease or are you going to buy? So either way, I can help you. I don't really like to deal with leasers or renters when they're trying to purchase rent a property, but because everybody needs some help in this business, I sometimes will extend that services, especially when dealing with Section 8, because like I said, that's a subsidy program. So it's a lot to it. It's just how you break it down. But because I'm a one-stop shop, I am versed in each aspect.
Okay, well that's good to know. All right, so let me just welcome the other people in, and I'm gonna reset the room real quick. So
Hmm.
we have Sakita Rodgers. She's a friend of mine. here in the historic city of Montgomery, Alabama, and she is a broker, okay, in the real estate space. So she was just talking to us about the different aspects and whatnot and what's going on in the real estate industry right now. If you have any questions or would like to come up and ask questions, you're more than welcome to just raise your hand and I will bring you up. The link above my head is um, one of the newsletters that we put out, my company, CMH Business Solutions, put out by way of LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, please follow me and please subscribe to the newsletter. So this gives you a sample of the newsletter that we put out over on LinkedIn. I actually put out two newsletters a month. This is one of them, and then the other one go out through my website. So with that being said, we're going to continue on. So, Sakita, let me ask you this. Okay, as you can see, the title of the room is Business Solutions Tips and Updates. So, based on where you operate, what kind of solution, tip, or update do you have to share with the people?
Well, there. Hey, my tip is buy now if you can. My update is the interest rate is the interest rate. So you better take what you can get while you can. And the solution is, as far as real estate, find you a good realtor like me. And if you're looking for something in the area of Alabama, call me and let's strategize on how we can make your real estate goals a success.
So is Alabama the only state that you're licensed in?
It
And
is, however, I do work with agents in all 50 states. So, for example, I know a lady here, a friend of mine, whose mother has a house in Detroit, Michigan. Well, she hired me here, and I used one of my affiliates in Detroit to get that property sold.
okay, so you're collabing with realtors across the United States.
Yes, and mortgage officers and mortgage
And
lenders.
mortgage out. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I know that me Misael, I can never pronounce your name correctly. Um I know that him and Jim, they are in the notary space. I believe Princess is. Rob, if that's the Rob that I know, he is in okay. He is in the notary space as well as accounting, if I'm not mistaken. If that's the same one that I think it is. So, but anywho, yeah, so of course, in our being a notary, of course, it puts us in the real estate industry, and so the goal is to, and look, we got another notary. She actually owns her own signing service, and I want to say she's in the title space too. I'm not really sure. So, but yeah. So anyway, in the notary space, the goal is always to work what we call direct. Okay. To work directly with the title companies. So yeah, so if you guys want to follow Shakita, this is not going to be her last time coming here. When I was opening up my spaces before, she and I, we did we did spaces all the time. So I reached out to her and asked her if she wanted to come on and, share about what she's doing now and all of the things. So she is in the real estate space. And as you know, Shakita, that I am also in the financial space, helping with credit repair, offering credit solutions. Okay, I have just finally broken that down, shorten it. That I offer notary solutions, credit solutions, and CDL solutions. I'm like, and if you want to know anything more, go to my bio, go to my website. Okay, all right. So, how can the people find you, Sikita? Can you put your information in the chat, please?
I sure will. They can find me on Facebook. You can find me mostly on Facebook. I haven't got into the Instagram. I haven't gotten into the Instagram technology, but I'm very active on Facebook. And so you can find me there. And I'm about to put my link in.
Okay, awesome. Again, if anyone want to come up and ask Sakita questions, you know what? I'm just gonna send you all invites. How about that? And you can pop up if you have a question. Um, yeah. How about that?
Yeah, any questions, they're welcome. Whatever avenue that you're looking into, or questions that you may have regarding in real estate, investing, renting, selling. I'm here tonight.
Yeah, and trust me, when she says she's here tonight because I think I was expecting you last weekend, and I end up either last Monday or the Monday before, and I was like, okay. I kept saying, okay, don't look like she's coming, don't look like she's coming. So,
Hey, I
but
had got
that's okay because you're welcome to come in at any time to share and just let us know anything that we need to know in the real estate space. Tell us what the climate is like and all of that. So you're always here. Does she work with notaries?
yes. In our business, yes, we do. In some cases, you need to have certain documents notarized. I've had an instance where we had to have a addendum notarized because the property was still in the name of the deceased father, and the siblings, the children of the deceased person whose name was on the property. We had to get them an addendum notarized for um, for it to go with the sale contract. And most you, if you are a notary, then sometimes you would partner with a closing attorney or a closing office, a title office. They usually have they usually collab with notaries in the area. You would not necessarily have to come to me as a realtor for that. Um, because as a notary, your main person would be the closing attorney, the closing officer, or someone of that nature.
Exactly. Hey, Rob, I see that you've come on the stage. Did you have a question that you would like to ask or something that you want to share? Over to you.
Thank you so much. And yes, ma'am, it's me. Yes,
With
ma'am, it's
that
me.
silly I'm like, what in the world is Rob doing?
Oh yes, got my cousin Cat as my picture. So it's your cousin Robert from Chicago. I am I'm sorry, I'm an ABA certified paralegal, mobile notary, as well as an enrolled agent, which is a tax professional. Again, I'm in the Chicagoland area. Ms. Sakita, I want to ask you a few questions if you don't mind talking to me. I
No.
promise you, I don't mean no harm. I just got to know some things at this juncture in my life. Would you? Why would somebody become a real estate agent in this day and age? Do somebody need a real estate agent with Zillow, Open Door, Redfin, Rocket Mortgage, AI, and all of the things?
Yes, you
Why
do.
would some? Why?
Yes, because those places that you named,
Hmm.
even they pull their information from me, and 92% of the time, the information that you see on Zillow and Realtor.com is wrong.
Mm.
It's wrong or outdated. or
Okay.
they're taking into consideration certain factors you as a buyer would not even factor in. For instance, and when you go on Zillow and Homes or somewhere, even
Hmm.
our system that we use, RPR, they don't make a differentiation between property types. So that's why sometimes you find the valuations on them wrong. And I'll give you an example. I was um with a buyer. This is a family situation, so I'm gonna be real lax in my description of it. It won't be so
Hmm.
professional because I'm dealing with some family,
That's
right?
baby. We are. I'm from down home. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so I'm telling this family member what this price is, why this price is like that. So she starts zipping off these numbers to me. And so I'm looking at her baffled. Like, where are you getting these numbers? Because I know what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the actual tax record from last year. I'm looking at the real time sale. When I do these CMAs, I do them in real time, meaning I am looking at what's been sold sometimes in the past 30 days, 60 days, all the way up to 180 days, right? My system and the system that most realtors will have will give them that information if they're doing an accurate, what we call a CMA. You cannot get that real time information from these search engines or even AI. And if you do, it still comes from my basic source because I am the entity that is giving them that information for them to even evaluate or calculate with. So you'll always need someone on the ground, boots on the ground, so to speak, whether you're an investor, whether you're a seller, whether you're a buyer, especially if you're relocating. Zillow can't tell you what it's like in that particular neighborhood. It can give you a crime report, but a crime report also as well, depending on what information they're intelling, detailing in the crime report. Are they just talking about shooting? Are they classifying murders? Are they classifying breaking and enterings in that particular report when they get the information? They might be putting a summation of information that some is important to you and some is not. But if it's too much on the bad side, you'll say, well, I don't want to live there. And it could be in error. The same way
Okay.
that family members' numbers were in error. Because when she told me, oh, I'm getting them from Zillow, I could have rang her neck. Because I'm like, you throwing the whole process off on false numbers. You're basing your hopes of what you finna purchase on false numbers. And you telling me Zillow, and I'm telling you, and I had to pull it up politely and show her, okay, well, this is what the real numbers are. Well, how you get that? Well, they're not giving us that. No, they're not. That's why I pay money to go to school and get continuing education and to learn these different platforms that they offer us to have the edge on a Zillow, on a Realtor.com, on a
Now,
Home.com.
now I'm glad you bring that up. Let me segue to my second question. Given this administration, this world, this economy that we're in right now today, right? Would you suggest or advise someone become a real estate agent? Your niece, your daughter, your son, your cousin? Would you let them become a real estate agent in this
It
day and age?
depends on what you want to do with it, right? I came from I was told, my story is this. When I got out of college in 2007, my uncle, he just this one, he always got something for you to do. And he was like, well, you need to go get your real estate license. And I flatly looked at him and told him, I'm not doing nothing. I just got out of college. I got 2 degrees in 3 years. I'm not finna do nothing but try to make these degrees work for me in some type of capacity. If I got to go overseas and be a mission worker, this is what I'm finna do. I'm not doing nothing else, especially not going back to school. Fast forward, I got into hotel management. I was a auditor. I became a hotel auditor, and what I did not know that was in that position in the hotel, that I was the first line of management, basically. But I also was the first line to the owner, and so I would have different owners contact me based off my work ethic. So then, fast forward, um, I'm out looking for a place to stay. And this is the first time I've had to do this process because I've always lived in family property. So, okay, I got to go lease somewhere to stay. And the guy that I'm going to meet suggests that he has a position open because he looks at my resume. So, and I was like, well, I could do that. And he was like, well, what make you think you can do that? I said, well, I ran a hotel before. I said, and the only thing I can see the difference is I get your money once a month, where I had to get their money every day. He said, I never looked at it like that. So, long story short, he hired me. But he hired me for an owner who was a black guy because I'm a black girl. So the white property manager hired me for a black owner. And so the black owner got pissed because he was like, they're hiring you to get my money when I can hire you to get my money. And he had 4 properties. So when the contract was up, he offered me a property management position. Now, I got so good while I was with the white gentleman, with their group, that I was sublet out to investors. Meaning I've gotten hired on site with on site unseen. And that means you call me and you say, well, Keita, I got this property over in such and such a place, and this is what I want done. Whether you needed renovations or you needed a tenant or whatever, I will go, I will look at it, I will assess it, and then I'll either get it renovated and find you a tenant. And I got so good at tenant placement, doing property management, when the opportunity came for me to become a realtor, because that's what the people who hired me initially, they were all realtors. Got a corner lock on the game. Taught me a whole lot. I go back to my uncle and say, I beg your pardon. You still want to pay for them classes? And so he paid for them while I was a property manager, and then I became a realtor. So I dibble dabble, dealing with investors, got good at valuations, and now I'm a broker. So it's all in what you want to do with it.
All
So
right,
if
you better tell you have your testimony ready for
I
him.
mean, I'm just saying it's what you want to do. So if you is not people see what I don't like is the fact that it's been sensationalized, right? You see, sell LA, sell Miami, and that is a very false narrative of what the real estate business is. Everything is not luxury in the real estate business, especially if you black. You're 0.7% of what the luxury is. Not a lot of us that can afford what they deem as luxury in the first place. That's one thing. Most of us can't afford it. So then what are you stuck with? You got your first time homeowners and those of us who are smart enough to invest. So it was only one of my owners, one that I was when I was hired on site unseen, he explained that to me because the building that he bought that he was running was $1.3 million. My other the guy who had the property management company come in and end up hiring me, he had four properties. None of his properties was under $2 million. These are you don't run into that. So that's on the investor side. So you don't run into regular people trying to buy $200,000-300,000 houses, not for the first time. So they give you a false sense of plenty money out there. They don't tell you about the $70,000 house, or they got a good commission check, and then they found them a tax property, and then they had to renovate it because they trying to get in the investment game too. The people that you see be on TV, they're investors too. They don't tell you that side. They don't tell you that they end up getting a property management company so they can get the underlying dollars too. We have a place out here called the Waters. The Waters have a lot of high priced homes out there. Even those agents got property on the other side of town that ain't $300,000. So it's really all in what you want to do with it.
Okay, so let me ask you this before I do want to segue into the notary part, but I can't hold my peace. So, what could a new real estate agent do in this kind of market right now? Work short sales, work foreclosures, work bank owned real estate. What could a newer agent do in this kind of market now?
Find they niche. I can't tell them. They got to find what they good at. See me, I turn myself into a one-stop shop because they'll tell you as a realtor, you even though you're a full-time realtor, you have to have other streams of income. So my other stream of income is a company called Just in Time. Just in Time is my COVID baby. Just in Time is a small engine repair business, appliance repair business with a handyman service. So I'm literally, if you come to me, I'm your one stop shop. A girl just bought a house from me in December. She got to have a roof on it. Her roof will give her $10,000 extra in equity. I got her that roof for out of pocket for $3,000 because the seller ended up giving her 2,500. That roofing company is my people. So we gave her for a $7,000 roof what she would have been paying. She paid 5,500. That investment of 5,500 would give her $10,000 in equity and take $100 and some dollars off her bottom line when she called an insurance company and say, "Hey, I got this new roof," because the only way you can get your mortgage to go down is either insurance or taxes. Taxes not going down, but she will get a cut on that insurance. So what she's paying $937, she'll be paying right at about $800 for her 3 bedroom, 2 bedroom.
All right, well, shut me up then. So, how do realtors? Because I heard your previous conversation, and you're in what we call an attorney state. So that is where a notary can't conduct a closing or whatever the case may be. So the lawyer has to be there on the
No,
phone
wait a
or
minute.
Zoom.
No, now listen. If you're
Uh huh.
doing private, let's say grandmama giving her property over to her grandchildren, they changing the deed.
Right.
If they're in agreement, they can get me to do the paperwork, and they can get you to notarize it. If that's what you're talking about, when you talk, even though we are an attorney state, you do have instances whereas an attorney is not needed.
Okay. So in that case, it does benefit notaries to directly liaison and establish relationships with real estate agents. Yes or no?
Oh yes, yes.
Okay, and I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes. I'm gonna try to talk a little bit while you get yourself together. So, in that regard, it is beneficial for notaries to market and advertise to real estate agents as well as attorneys, as well as the title company, and things of that nature. Um, I remember when I first started getting in the game. I don't know, 8 9 years ago by now. They were like, go by the real estate agent's office and bring them a dozen donuts or a box of coffee and things like that. Um, I never really did none of that. Most of a lot of my initial work was referrals, directly from attorneys, directly from title companies, because the attorneys were title agents at different title companies, and that put me up against, not against, but bumped me into other real estate agents. And then I became a court appointed receiver. So I actually fool around, dabble in real estate my damn self. And so now I'm starting to bump up more and more into more real estate agents. So I guess with that being said, my question is, how would notaries, what's a preferred method, or give me some game, so how notaries can be in touch with real estate agents, so when you got grandmama trying to quick exchange the deed over, or you have these instances in your state where you don't need an attorney, or even when you do, you're like, hey, let me call my cousin Robert, he a notary, I need him to handle this situation,
But see, that's
or
the whole.
let me
You
get
just
him.
answered your question.
All right.
You just answered your question because it's like I know Miss Cheryl, right? When if I'm in a situation and a situation like that probably possibly is coming up for me because I have a lady that I know. She has received an air property that she wants to go to her I'll say play niece. Her family is in agreement because it's her said so. So they're gonna want me to draw up that new deed for it to be recorded. So in turn, I say, "Hey, Michelle, what you gonna charge?" Because I add her fee into mine, and we'll show up. We'll handle the transaction of the business. I already have the document ready, and what I do is I have the sealed document as well. So all she has to do is come out with her stamp and sign it. So I'll have her document already prepared for her. She just show up and we get paid and everybody go on about their business.
Hey man, that sounds like it's good to me.
So you
I
just have to
appreciate it.
make yourself known. You have to go to the spaces and places that realtors congregate. Like for me, when me and Michelle first started, when I was going to something, I said, "Hey, they having this event over here. Would you like to come?" Girl, yeah. I just shoot them at her. She can't make everything, but it's just the fact that you having that relationship. And all these businesses, your business, my business, all of it is about the relationship that you build. Who you talking to? Who you keeping? I met Michelle at a seminar. I didn't know I was going to be talking to that lady 3, 4, 5 years later. But we here we go, still again. And like she said, I have it's been times where I've drifted off from Clubhouse. This is her thing. She's always on it. This is her thing though. But she's always there. If I got a seminar or something going on, I can say, Michelle, hey, I need to come on. I need to talk to this about this because somebody somewhere else might get some that I got going on over here in Alabama. Because I talk to people, I talk to brokers in Louisiana, I talk to brokers in Florida, I talk to people in Georgia, like I said, Michigan. I'm all over the place. I'm in Cleveland. I'm all over the place. It's all up and down the Eastern Seaboard because you got to talk. You want to know what's going on in their markets, especially with the trend of perpetual renting because you wonder why. That's another thing that if you coming into the business you got to worry about because there's not a lot of properties for you to buy. In our area is not a lot of affordable housing. Now they building new housing, but it's not affordable housing. Same way with South North Carolina. North Carolina is really having a problem with this because they got people flocking there and they putting up these properties, but they're not affordable. I've had apartment complexes because I work with multi-family properties. Like say a year and a half, close to 2 years ago, people were coming buying these apartment complexes coming from Georgia, and they're trying to charge $1,100 rent, and that don't sustain here. So when the next company come by, they got to redo everything and go back to the 750, 800, not 850 range. So it's all in what you gonna do with it. How you gonna do with it? What is your goal? I came in to help people. So far, helping people has paid me very well. I'm still in the business where some people are falling out. We had 2,000, 2,800 real estate agents. Before January, we're down to 1,300. See those
Yeah.
eyes?
It reminds me of the notary situation too, your story, because we also are told to always have other income coming in and whatnot because of the market, how it is up and down, and up and down. So I always, from the time that I started in 2017 as a notary loan signing agent, I always had some other streams of income. Okay, that's just my thing. People tease me about it, but one thing for sure, I ain't begging y'all for nothing. Okay, cause God got me, and He always got money flowing to me. And I just finished notarizing an affidavit of this mortgage loan officer. She said, "Yeah, I'm trying to get into Georgia." And they told me I needed this affidavit done. And of course, I told her my story, and she was like, "Oh, okay, all right." So, yeah, so I had to notarize that document for her, and she knows how I work now. Just hey, I'm by appointment only. Call me when you got something. And I'll work you in, no problem. So you never know what is happening out there. But one thing for sure, okay, the notaries are always needed. The notaries are always needed. But you got to plug yourself in the right space. You
Yeah,
got to build those relationships, like you said. Let
you
me
do.
acknowledge Miss. Boy, you know who I'm talking about.
Misa, yo, Misa, yo. Yes.
Go ahead and
My
introduce
name is
yourself. Tell the people who you are and all of the things. And if you have a
yes.
question for Sikita, go ahead and ask your question. Thank you.
Well, my name is Misael Montas. I'm from New York, and I'm also a mobile notary, a tri-state notary, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. I'm also a paralegal by profession, and yeah, first and foremost, I gotta big you up, Ms. Sakita, on your testimony. It sounded very like someone that you want to get to know, as far as your own motivation, the things that you're doing, the things how you're navigating in your space, right? So definitely that was compelling me to come up and just big you up on that. The other part that I wanted to ask you, I had two questions, one for CM and one for yourself, Miss Akita. For CM, have you um have you gotten involved in the remote notarization in your state since you're in Alabama? And I know they don't authorize digital electronic notarizations. I'm out of Connecticut as well, and it's similar. It is only wet remote notarization with a wet ink. And I just wanted to know from you, what was your experience with that? If you've been engaging that, and for Miss Akita, the question that I have for you, as far as the you being a real estate agent, because a lot of times what I have learned in the community space is that real estate agents and brokers do have the power to kind of insert their notary into the process. Definitely, we're not talking about favoritism or anything like that. We're talking about, if you're asked the question, hey, do you have a signing service? Do you have a preferred notary? And you know someone that does the work correctly for the most part, flawless, errorless, or they have a very, very positive response to any oversight. Those kind of things you can insert with the title companies that you're working with the escrow companies that you're working with the real estate law firms that you're working with. Is there ever a point that you might have entertained that?
I have, as I stated with Miss Cheryl, I have. However, here, if you're using an attorney in the state of Alabama, and I know for Montgomery especially, in our area, if you're using an attorney, you don't have a need for a notary. But again, I will say to Rob's point, you don't have a lot of notaries putting themselves out there like that. I met Michelle. Michelle is one of the few notaries I've met in a space. So it's in common whether I put you there or not. You have to be accessible to even be there. You have to make sure that you, as the notary, are putting yourself in them spaces, because had not Miss Cheryl been in that space, I would not know her today, because she came to a realtor event. It wasn't a notary event. She came to a realtor event. So, like for instance, I think we're having a realtor event tomorrow with a mortgage company. They're called Guild. Well, in most cases, Miss Sherilyn gets it. Miss Sherilyn, what are you doing on Tuesday, such and such time? They're having this event over here, so that's her job. That's her cue to come bring her cards. Because I can't, no matter, I cannot represent her better than she can represent herself. So I cannot represent you better than you can represent yourself. You just said, well, and I thank you for the compliment. You said I'm somebody you would get to know. Well, you would have to do that same thing for yourself for them to work with you. Because no matter what I say, once you show up as you, then you in the door. I can do it a couple times, but you can do it better for yourself. So what I do is, as the person, I invite you. I let you know these things are going on. I tell you, hey, this event, that event, and here, since COVID, they're getting back into it. It ain't nothing but eating, drinking, and having a good time for real. All our events, you leave a little tipsy a little bit because they have wine and food and all kind of good stuff. So it's always a good time to engage in the community. And I don't just say the community meaning the realtors and the brokers. No, I mean you guys, the because we are limited here in Montgomery. We don't have variation of title officers and attorneys that do real estate. We have like four, three or four. And everybody goes to the same ones. We don't have a lot of notary. I see people on Facebook in different spaces that I entertain advertising. They do notary, but they're not gonna come across my mind. Michelle's gonna come across my mind because that's the person that I know. That's the person I see in our spaces. So she's the one that's gonna always come to mind if I have a need for a notary. I wouldn't even take them to the funeral home, and I know the funeral home give them for free. I'll call her if that answers your question. Your turn, Michelle.
Yeah, it is really funny, the question that you asked regarding whether or not I'm doing the rent and whatnot. Y- to be honest with you, I really had no desire to do that, but I've gotten a lot of people that God has sent across my path that is asking me now, am I doing that? Um, I went to a first time home buyers. I think that's what that was she was doing, right, Sakita? I went there and
Yeah.
yeah, and the guy from the mortgage company or title company, he and I connected. You know, I already knew him from church. You know, I had to I had to remind him who I was. But yeah, and that was the first thing he asked me. He said, "Are you hooked up online?" And I was like, no, not really. But it is something that is on my things to do. um to be honest with you, when I got into the other things that I'm involved in, the credit space and the CDL space, really that was supposed to bring me out of the notary thing. um no, but here I am still doing it. Here I am still doing it. It's like God won't let me. It's like something on my leg. I'm trying to shake it off, and God's like, no, 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 no. I still need you over here. I still need you over here, and whatnot. So that's primarily what I do here in Montgomery, Alabama, is the notary and whatnot. I have yet to move it online. All my other things that I do is strictly online. It's strictly online. I don't have to do anything but market those things. And people just go to the link and they do their thing, get what they want, pay me, and yeah, and stuff.
What's your
So,
marketing? What's your overview on marketing? Your services. Is that through traditional social media, Google Business? What's your approach to
well,
that?
my approach when I first started with my notary business as a notary loan signing agent, I did what everyone else did. I put my name on all the notary databases and whatnot, and I got to a point. I want to say within a year or maybe a year and a half, where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to not go with the free thing. I'm going to start paying for this. And and of course, I got my Google in place and all of that. And so people, they find me. And Sikita is really the first person here in Montgomery, Alabama, as far as a realtor, as far as a title company, those connections. She's the first one. all my business came from people who found me through those databases and or Google. And I'm talking about attorneys, I'm talking about adoption people. They found me through Google or one of the notary databases and whatnot. So my notary business is established. Okay, I really don't have to market that anymore. Okay, because I have people that are referring people to me, and people that the customers, they're referring people. The lady that came to me today is yet another person from my church, and I don't even go to that church anymore. Even go to that church anymore. But I claimed them to keep people from trying to recruit me to that church. But I knew this guy, and he referred this lady to me to get her affidavit done. So, and of course, I ain't gonna tell you. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you. So I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, thank you for the referral." He was like, "Who is this?"
That's how it goes. The referral game is really big here. People like
Yes.
to go with who they know or somebody
Yeah.
who knows somebody because
Because I have done work for him. I've notarized documents for him, for his son, And again, at the end of our texting, and when he said, "Miss Cheryl, I'm going to continue to support your business." He wanted to know all the other things, because I was reaching out to him. He's in the construction space. And one of my attorney friends out in California, he said to me, he said, "Cheryl, you need to hang around the courts, the civil court or whatever, because the construction people, they're always suing each other. And a lot of times they haven't served their documents before they go into court. So they be looking for somebody. So go hang around over there." So when she told me who referred her, I was like, "Oh my God, I need to hook up. I need to hit him up as a process." So anywho, yeah, but that's the thing. It's just when you have an opportunity to go to these different networking things, and like Sakita said, man, when we met, she was taking me here, there, everywhere. She was like, "Miss Cheryl, come on, let's go here. Come on, let's go there." And when I then later on I found out that she's a cousin to this family that I grew up with, literally right across the street. I'm like, "Oh my goodness," But yeah, you have to strategically place yourself. Now, Miss Sierra, I know you ain't hurting for no business, so you can quit that. Okay, you can quit that.
Well, I'll be honest. I ended up in getting my Google business suspended in the month of March, and I'm still recovering from that. But that whole month slowed me up a lot, and I'm just trying to bounce back. Ain't nothing wrong with expanding. You know,
Yeah,
outreaching, but I was a little bit stuck for about a month or so, and that was I was on a upward trajectory, and then all of a sudden nothing was
Well,
happening.
let me tell you something. Mine's been down. My Google business page has been down for a minute. Okay, because my life is in fast motion. When it happened, I was like, "Well, whatever," you know. Like whatever. I get around to fighting that and getting it back up, but whatever. And then that was something else that happened with my bit. Oh, yeah, I call myself googling my own business. They say, yeah, you Google your own business. It keeps you on top and whatnot, of the search engine and stuff. And so I Google my own business. How about I seen where somebody they done marked my business as closed, permanently closed. I was like, "What?"
you better fix that, Miss Shirley.
Girl, look, I am not moved by this craziness. It is God. I am trusting God to keep the customers coming, and He's doing just that. I had went away from, and just other ways of building my business, okay, and whatnot. And one of the things that I really, really, really and is building right now is my referral uh, resources. People that are referring business to me. And that right there is, I think that is going to be the best thing. So I get a lot of business from a couple of different places that keeps me up and going and stuff. So I'm not worried about it. And of course, like I said, I got my other streams of incomes and all of that. So yeah, but yeah, don't worry about it, Marcel. Just of course, take care of it as
No, I
quickly as
did.
you can.
I
But I
they
think
re
you're good, though. You're
they
good.
reactivated me. I'm good now. It's just prior to I would literally get anywhere between 10 calls to 20 calls a day, and it was just whether I can fit it in my schedule, right? And then the phone was the phone was silent for a couple of weeks, and I was like, wow, I was on a high, now I'm on a low, and but yeah, I'm just trying to bounce back and network. The one thing that I was hearing from you both of you ladies, were that you guys are doing a lot of in-person networking, a lot of in-person marketing yourself, right? So for me, I have a W-2 as well, so my weekly hour is pretty limited to go to events. So what else would you suggest how I can get in touch with
Let me help
remotely,
you
more or
out. Let
less?
me break it down. Let me break it down for you, real simple. On in like somebody brought up Eventbrite, because I'm going back and forth to the comments. You can just go on Facebook and look up home buyer seminar. The local NAR would have events. These are not always daytime events. They are not always evening events. They're varied events. Different mortgage companies. Um, Give me what else? Who else throws events? Other brokerages. They will have mixers and events and stuff. When I first started in real estate, I literally was going for the wine. I knew they was gonna have wine and some fancy and cute to eat that I probably wouldn't eat nowhere else. The event that I met Miss Shirley in, at the event that I'm going to tomorrow, is an event they're having it at the country club. They're gonna feed us. We're gonna eat. So I, even when I was working my 9 to 5, I would take my lunch hour to go to this guild luncheon because they have really good food. So you make it simple for you, sweetheart. You don't, I'm saying it, but I want you to see how simple it was for me, how simple I made it for myself. They'll have these events, and you pick the ones that you want to go to, and you pick them around your schedule. And you take that little time for yourself and go have you a glass of, have your business cards and have your glass of wine and get you one of them little, because they have these like charcuterie things sometimes, and sometimes they be at the taco place, and sometimes they'll have somebody cater it. You just go and get your little snack on and get your business cards out, and literally it'll take you all of 10 minutes to walk a room and get your belly full and walk out the door with your glass of wine and go to the next one. Okay, Michael. I see Michael said.
Yeah, it's
The
and for
little bit of
me,
drink is a compelling factor, I see. For me it is. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
you no, seriously, you got to make it work for you. You have to, like, find, like I said, find your niche. My niche was the wine and seeing the fancy stuff, because I would never do anything fancy. But when I put on my little cute, I make pull my little hair back in my little bun, and hey, I'm going to have me a glass of wine. I don't date. I'm not gonna, so I'm gonna have me a glass of wine and something fancy to eat. And some of it be nasty and some of it be good. But I've given out business cards. I've made connections. I've I've done my little two step, and out the door I go.
And see, for me, like I said, I am my mom's primary caregiver. There was four of us, but now there's three of us, and whatnot. And my older sister and I, we are the ones that primarily handle it during the day hours. So, like she said, you just have to work everything around your own schedule. And a lot of these things do happen in the evening time. If you can't make the ones in the daytime hour, you there don't have no fear. There's plenty of them that's happening in the evening time. I mean, right
Listen,
after and outside of that, yeah. You know what, Sakita, I have been wanting to go to this event. One of my friends, real good friends, um, her sister, her sister's husband, they opened up this cigar lounge. Now, let me tell you something. I do not smoke. I don't smoke. I don't drink. But they have a networking thing that they do on Sundays. And you know, my girlfriend and I, we had said that we was gonna go over there, to do it, but anyway, she got stuff going on herself. So we're gonna have to hit that one up though, Sakita, because
I'm down for it because I'm telling
yeah.
them, you have these co-op collab events in your city. You have these. What we do, it used to be more prevalent before COVID, and it just started back up. You have small business association free meetings that you can go to and put yourself out there, and whether it's day or night. Like we having a luncheon tomorrow. Miss Sherrican walks in there with her mother. When nobody asks her who is this lady coming in here for this free food, ain't nobody gonna say nothing to that. I've taken my uncle, God bless his soul, he just passed away. Do you know how many times I slipped him into something, some little thing that we were having? Oh, hey, we just finna walk over here. I got to go around these work folks. This is what you do. All them white people that he's shocked to see I work around so many white people. He don't know what's going on. He just glad to get something to eat and walk on out the door too. So you just
Now, admittedly, it's just a touch, little more difficult up north doing that than down south
well,
with
I
security and
can get
everything.
that,
But
but at the end of the day, Rob, you make these events work for you. There are free events out there. It should. I do free CE, baby. I do free events. I did not get what I'm at paying my way the whole way, and I know some people who have, and I don't knock them. They money may roll like that, but me, it's putting your. It's so much easy as putting your card at a couple of gas stations. Sometimes you are always supposed to be advertising for you and your business in any capacity that you can. And sometimes whether it's just if you got to have a name tag, make you one of them little name tags. You don't need but one. I think Vistaprint give you one. Sometimes they run this so much off when you buy your business cards, you can get another something like a banner or a tag or something for half off or something. That's what I would rather spend my money on than trying to spend my money on buying leads, so to speak. For as an agent, they want you to buy leads, and like I said, everybody can't afford it, but you if you can afford a trip and do a 15-minute walk through, I promise you, just that alone, just putting your cars a couple of places and having a conversation with a couple of strategic people sometime. You know who you need to spend your extra 2 minutes with. Because that's all a pitch is, 2 to 3 minutes. I've never sat nowhere and talked nowhere 15 minutes to nobody on in one of these things because I'm working the room. They just need to see me. That's always been my motto. I might forget who you is. I just need you to see me. If you see me, you'll remember me because I got this big hair and these pretty eyes. You gon' remember me if nothing else but the big hair.
Well, I don't disagree with the premise. I've said that for a number of years. I know Michelle may have heard me in previous rooms. You know, I've always been an advocate, especially for notaries. Go to the courthouse. You know, you process servant, go to the courthouse. That's where it's at. That's where the money is. Go down there. You know, you want to bump into people that need your services. You know, you want to sometimes, you know, if you believe it or not, 90% of life is showing up. You know what I'm saying? So just show up and always open your mouth about who you are and what you could do for somebody. You know, people oftentimes they like to hear the stories and all of that, but they don't care. They really care about what you could do for them. And
That's
so, you
right.
know, hey, say I'm a notary public. I'm mobile. I can be there. Johnny on the spot in 10 minutes. I could be there. You need me to go at 7 p.m. I can go. I'm gonna charge you. Might not charge you a little bit. Might not charge you a lot, but I'm gonna charge you. But I'm gonna be there. And you know, you just handle the business. So a lot of it is showing up. A lot of it is bumping into people and being in different places and spaces and being unafraid to be you. I've often said I don't know how to teach that. You know, people, you can't teach effervescentness. You can't teach gregariousness. You can't teach a persona. You know what I'm saying? The best we can do is tell them to try it and see what happens. So I totally agree with that, ladies. Thank you.
This is something that happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I'm just at the gas station trying to get some gas, minding my own business. I got places to go, things to do. Next thing I know, I got this guy walking up to me, and he was like, "Oh my God, you're a notary." How did he know that? Because on the back of my car, right there on the bumper is just a strip, and it says Notary Public, and it has my business number, not my cell phone number, but my business number on there, right? And so I said, "Yes, I am." He said, "Oh my goodness, do you have a card? Do you have a card?" I said, "Yes, I do." This man has his own roofing company and he's a realtor. He said, "Sometime I just need somebody to go out and handle stuff for me because the people can't come to me or I don't have time." And I was like, "Sure. That's the main reason why I became a notary is to be, to do loan closings." He said, "Really?" I said, "Yes." And whatnot. So you have to advertise, however you can. I have shirts made up, t-shirts. You got a beautiful print on the front, on the back. It's my business card on the back. You might as well say it tells all of the things and whatnot. And I'll never forget walking in Sam's one day and the guy first he was stopping me because of the beautiful what the shirt said on the top. But then when I walked away, he was like, "Hold up, now wait a minute, what?" So, because my life is in fast motion, I have to do little things like that. But it gets me customers. Again, there I was minding my own business at Sam's. This was before we decided we wanted to protest against Sam. So, I'm minding my own business at Sam's. My car is parked. Do you know the next day I got a call from a lady? She said, "I seen your car at Sam's and it says that you are a notary. Is that correct?" I said, "Yes, ma'am, it is." She said, "I really need you." I said, "Well, tell me what you got going on." So, that little strip then cost me a whole lot of money. Not at all. But we have to take time to invest in our business if we want to have that customer base. So, and I know once I get the customer, especially at my office, once they find me, they ain't going nowhere else because the only thing they have to do is call me and schedule an appointment. That's all they have to do. They don't have to go to what is that? UPS and stand in line or to the bank and stand in line. No. They just call me, "Miss Cheryl, I got documents that I need to have notarized. When can I come to your office? And I just go from there. So that's what's been working for me. Like I said, my notary business is pretty much, I'm good. I'm really good. I thank God for, Sikita, and the referrals that she makes to me and us hanging out and all of the things and whatnot. Yeah, I'm not gonna turn it away and whatnot, but yeah, so I'm
And let me
getting.
give another tip. If you go on Vistaprint, once you get your first set of cards from Vistaprint, and it's another company, I don't know what Markup does because I really haven't used them that much, but I have used Vistaprint. When you buy your cards from Vistaprint, they'll offer these sales and these discounts for different types of things and other products. If somewhere in your community you got somebody that you guys probably got somebody that makes a T-shirt or something. If you have your own logo, all you have to do is go ahead and get you your logo and whoever you may know, and have them make you a t-shirt. A t-shirt maybe get done designed the way you want it. Around our community is like 15, maybe $20. And if you provide your shirt, it's really just getting the stencil done. So if you look into stuff like that, you can wear a t-shirt or something, because that's what I did for my just in time business. We have I went on Vistaprint, and Vistaprint helped me make a logo. So that's how I made my logo for that business. And they also give you a free scan, what you call it, like the little scan code.
QR code.
Okay, you can get a free QR code for Vistaprint. Digital cards. I got mine free through Bling Q. I have my free digital card that way, and so I download that link. I use that link a lot. So it's a lot of, like I said, it's a lot of free things that's out there, and like I said, a few things you have to pay if you want a good um business card. Take a little time and design it yourself. Vistaprint is a very good useful tool, and then they have the fancy paper. Even if you don't want to use Vistaprint, I think there is next time I come, I'm gonna research this to see if it still works, where you could make your own business card and then just take it to somewhere like a FedEx with some fancy paper, and you can get them done that way. But I think Vistaprint has that paper as well. And like I said, because everything is all in that system when in their card design, it might be cheaper to go ahead and order them through them and be done with it. But they will send you out emails offering discounts on maybe your name tag, maybe a t-shirt, maybe a bag or a mug or something else that you would need to promote your business, and you don't have to buy a lot of them. That's my other tip.
Okay, so we are getting ready to wrap this thing up. Did y'all have any more questions for Sakita? Hey, Teresa, I see you down there. Girl, we need to get together because I need you to, yeah, I'm calling you. Okay. I just took a look at Sakita's bio. She does have her bio there here on Clubhouse. She put her Facebook uh link in the chat as well, and I do want to say for the recording purposes only that there's a lot of good information in the chat as well. um did she leave? Look like she left. Okay. So, but yeah, the other thing too is that what I like to do is to repurpose these Monday spaces and put them over onto my YouTube. There she is. Over onto my YouTube as well. And of course, Sakita, like I told you, I would definitely make sure that I give you the link to that when I get it all set up and whatnot, so you can repurpose it however you want to do it as well. I don't know why she keep popping in and out. Maybe a call or something. But so did anyone else have questions for Sakita before we close out the space? if I can.
No, no, no. I was thankful to have joined you, ladies, and thank you.
It's always a pleasure, Miss Al. It's always a pleasure. You know, you are a wealth of knowledge, and I will definitely tap in with you to help me get started with that online notarization.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, just reach out.
Okay, I appreciate you. Okay, so any closing words? I see Rob is on the phone. Any closing words? Oh yeah, who knows? Okay. Um Sikita girl, who knows? Okay. Any closing words? And if not, we're going to close out the space. The replays are on for those of you I'm trying to see who are just popping in. Yeah.
No, I just want to thank you for the opportunity to come. I enjoyed the conversation. I thank you guys for engaging and asking your questions. And anytime that I can be of service, my information is there. And please give me a call or hit me up, and I'll gladly assist you in any way I can.
Okay, awesome. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and close out the room. Again, I do this every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We was a little bit delayed today because I had that customer I had to take care of, but we still got in here at a decent time. So thanks everyone for coming to support. I really appreciate you, and happy closing. See y'all next time in these clubhouse. Bye.